Individuals who claim to be game journalists are the people who hate gamers the most, it seems like. There's so few good game journalists out there that when you found one, you have struck gold. And when I talk about people who write for Polygon, Kotaku, The Gamer, 98% of the time, it's because they've put up articles that are rage bait, hoping to get some angry clicks because they've insulted the community or a specific game. And of course, like clockwork, The Gamer has put up an article attacking gamers, calling us toxic, terrible people. I have a bunch of different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So the article is titled, "Gamers are terrible people and we should stop being okay with it." Gamers have stepped up their usual brand of toxic harassment recently, and we need to admit that they are real fans causing real problems. Now, of course, I am not giving them a click on this article. I am using an archive of it, but this writer has put out articles that are very similar in the past, just attacking games and attacking gamers, which I will reference in a few minutes. But it says there are a lot of people who play video games that balk at the idea of being called a gamer. I have been a gamer my whole life. I have never had an issue with anyone calling me a gamer. I don't see it as a bad word, but of course, the game media wants to turn it into a bad word. I work for a website literally called The Gamer, and I feel the same way. Also, yes, The Gamer, no spaces. Gaming is one of the most popular hobbies in the world, and the representation on screen, in development studios, and in journalism is more diverse than ever. In the boardroom, not so much, but hey, nobody's perfect. There are a huge range of games to play and characters in them, and yet nobody wants to be a gamer. I think the majority of people are fine with the term gamer and being called a gamer. I really don't think that it's that big of a deal, but it says, who can blame them? This week has shown that gamers are the worst, and it's difficult to know how to stop it. Now, this is a giant issue, okay? They are a gaming website, okay? They need gamers to actually make money, to get clicks, to have any sort of space in this industry, right? And yet all they care about is attacking those very people. It says there are more general gamer elements that have become so acceptable we barely even register them. I wrote last year when a female Valorant streamer was told to go back to Halo, despite go back to Valorant being the usual sexist call-out, that it's basically impossible for women to play a game without being told it's not for them. Now, maybe many years ago, back in the Xbox 360 days when I was on voice chat on Modern Warfare 3, yeah, okay, I heard people make fun of me, oh, you're a girl in a video game, but it wasn't that serious. And ever since then, I don't think I've ever been told, hey, you're a female, ew, gaming isn't for you. Go back to knitting and sewing and maybe reading. Like, I don't think that we live in a world where this really happens anymore. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all, because of course there's people out there who want to say this hobby is for me and not for you, but at the same time, I just think that, you know, they're talking about an example of one thing that happened last year. Okay, they're not bringing up anything recent, and they're saying it's impossible for women to play a game without being told it's not for them. I'm a woman, and this doesn't happen to me, so why don't you say, hey, you know, this still happens, but it doesn't happen all the time. I think that that would be a more acceptable thing to say, that yeah, it still happens, it's just not often. But of course they want the narrative to be that, oh, women have it so hard in the gaming industry. It says the exceptions are the less combat-focused games like Animal Crossing, although many toxic gamers will tell you they're not real games anyway. I think maybe if they had used an example like Candy Crush, oh, if you play Candy Crush, you're not a real gamer, people would look at that and be like, haha, yeah, because it's a giant meme. Ugh, you're a mobile gamer, you play Candy Crush, you're not a real gamer. But Animal Crossing has sold millions and millions of copies. It's a massively popular series. I just don't think that that is a good example to use. It just makes you look dumb. It says then there's the rampant racism in gaming communities, and they go on to use two different examples, one of which happened all the way back in 2017. They talk about PewDiePie and his PUBG days where he used the N-word, which itself has been memed as a gamer moment. IShowSpeed might have been permabanned from Twitch, but his violently sexist and obnoxiously offensive style of streaming has earned him a huge impressionable audience. If you want to say that there is this rampant issue going on in gaming, you need to use more examples, and you need to use recent relevant ones, okay? The IShowSpeed one was only from like 2 months ago, but the PewDiePie situation was back from 2017, and this is the only example that they could come up with. Why would I sit here and read this and go, you know what, I'm going to agree with you, gamers are terrible people. You're giving us two examples here. And then they go on to talk about the God of War situation that's happened recently, saying, this unfortunately is a rather common form of gamer rage. God of War Ragnarok fans have been far more creative. God of War is the biggest game yet to release this year, but it currently has no release date, and fans are salivating over one. Of course, they're already setting up for God of War's Game of the Year because they hate the fact that people like Elden Ring, they probably couldn't finish Elden Ring, and they're saying it's the biggest game yet to release this year, yet it hasn't even released this year. And I put my money on the fact that it won't release this year, even if they're saying that it's going to. But it says fans who are definitely going to buy this game day one are currently desperate to see an advert for it. I've used fans repeatedly because there have been arguments that these people are not true God of War fans. These people have collector's editions, tattoos, custom controllers. They're just throwing out a bunch of generic things that fans would probably have. But it says when Alana Pierce joined the God of War development team, we saw signs of this. She is one of the most fetishized people in modern gaming, and at the first sign of delay, she was immediately bombarded with rape threats and deepfakes of herself, blaming her entirely for the delay. This week, when rumors of a Ragnarok release reveal came and went, another female dev at the studio revealed she had been sent numerous dick pics, essentially ransoming an end to the harassment campaign if she told the sender the release date. Now, obviously, these things are completely unacceptable, right? Alana Pierce, this other female developer who's not named at the studio, they should not be receiving harassment like this. But I think that most people would agree with that, okay? They are talking about a few specific examples of bad people saying and doing bad things, and they're throwing everyone else under the bus. That is the main issue here, right? They're looking at a few examples of things. They're going, oh, gamers are awful, terrible people because they do things like this. Do you think I've ever done anything like that? No. Have any of you listening to this video done that? Most likely not. But of course, we are all grouped together and we're just called terrible gamer people, terrible toxic gamers, which is ridiculous. This is why I do not give the gamer my clicks. This is why I use archives when I talk about situations like this, because they just want rage clicks. That's all they care about at the end of the day, because without rage clicks, they probably wouldn't be getting views. And if we go to Twitter, these are some other very recent articles that this journalist has put up. This user said this journalist is on a speed run for bad takes. This was the article that we were just reading. And then they made another one just a couple of days ago. Gaming needs to get over its love of guns. And they say games have long been built on gun violence, and they probably should be more introspective. Of course, saying that a whole genre, one of the most popular genres in gaming should just disappear. And then we have this one. We shouldn't have cared about EA's single player tweet as much as we did, instantly saying that gamers should give companies more of a chance, and we really shouldn't read too much into what these companies are saying. This journalist definitely is on a speed run for bad takes, but this is just a terrible article, just grouping gamers together saying that we're terrible people because a handful of individuals haven't been the nicest online. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.